Archbishop Desmond Tutu, the recipient of the 1984 Nobel Peace Prize, retired as Archbishop of Cape Town, South Africa in 1996. President Nelson Mandela later named him chairman of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Archbishop Desmond Tutu is admired throughout the world for the heroism and grace he exhibited in encouraging countless South Africans to pursue their dreams of freedom through the human rights struggle that ended apartheid. Today's South Africa is radically changed due in large measure to men of African descent like Nelson Mandela, the Reverend Dr. Leon Sullivan of the United States of America, and of course, the Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Archbishop Desmond Tutu, like Dr. Martin Luther King before him, offers us a luminous vision of love and hope. New Yorkers recently had a rare opportunity to spend an evening in conversation with Archbishop Tutu at the historic Riverside Church. Hosted by the Reverend Dr. James Forbes, senior pastor of Riverside Church and the Learning Annex. The Archbishop shared his views on a wide range of topics, including international politics, the South African economy, and ethical issues affecting our world today.
Good evening. On behalf of the officers, members and staff of the Riverside Church, and also of the good people of the Learning Annex, I welcome you here this evening. As I welcome you tonight, it is my good pleasure to say that the occasion is actually a special moment of grace for us here at the Riverside Church. We are aware that our nation is having to make serious decisions about its direction. We believe that within the context of both our democratic heritage and our faith, we need to be listening to the prophets of old who prayed that justice would roll down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. But it is not always enough to have prophets from of old, as we say in church sometimes. We need living prophets who speak to our contemporary situation with the wisdom of the ages. At age 20, he was a teacher. At age 30, he became an ordained priest. At age 40, he was a lecturer in the Department of Theology. And at age 45, he was a bishop of Lesotho. And after that, we just stopped counting because he's been running ever since. A prophet and priest to us all. And for that reason, I take leave from this podium and present to you Archbishop Desmond Tutu, the world's leader. Let's receive him.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. This place has been the venue of some stirring occasions during the time when the dark moments of our struggle against the viciousness of apartheid, and we derived considerable inspiration. We were encouraged to know that so many people would gather in this great sanctuary. People who were ready to be arrested on our behalf, people who were ready to boycott South African goods. And there were wonderfully rousing occasions here. Soon we will be celebrating 10 years of our freedom. 10 years when we can hold our heads up high. 10 years since that magical April the 27th magical day. We won a spectacular victory over the awfulness of apartheid then. But it was a victory that would have been totally impossible without your support. Totally. We owe more than we can ever repay to all of you, to all of the many, many others out there who helped us to become free. And it is one of the incredible privileges to befall one, to be able to come to places such as this and say, friends, we were oppressed, now we are free. We had shackles binding us, now they have fallen from our wrists and our ankles. Thank you on behalf of millions and millions and millions of your sisters and brothers in South Africa. It is one of those incredible privileges to know that for this time, one can say, without being presumptuous, that I know I speak on behalf of those many millions. You were fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The demise of apartheid demonstrates incontrovertibly that this is a moral universe. Because you see, for a very, very, very long time, the upholders of apartheid used to strut the world stage as cocks of the walk, thumbing their noses at the rest of the world, supported, as we know, by a conniving, gullible West in this country. We had our work cut out trying to persuade the Reagan White House that they ought to apply sanctions against that vicious regime in South Africa. And we had very little change out of them, for they were carrying out their wonderful constructive engagement policy. The upholders of apartheid never thought for one moment that they were likely to come to grief. As you so well know, our leaders were either in jail or in exile. Many of them inside the country were banned, living a twilight existence. The upholders of apartheid never thought the day would come when they would no longer be the cocks of the walk. And we in the churches in those dark, somber days, sought to maintain the hope and morale of our people, to maintain the light of hope burning. Frequently we would say to our people, hey, this is God's world. This is God's world. God is in charge. These people with all of their guns and all of the might that they seem to have already lost. Because in this moral universe, right and wrong matter. There were moments when it was fairly like whistling in the dark to say, this is God's world and God is in charge. Frequently you felt like you wished you could be able to whisper in God's ear, for goodness sake, we know you are in charge. Why don't you make it slightly more obvious? And then, wow! Did God show that God was in charge? Yeah! When the prison doors opened, as we had said would happen. For you see, the God that we worship is not blind. He's not deaf. He's not stupid. We used to say to our people, our God hears. Our God hears your cries. Our God sees your tears. Our God, this one who is the same yesterday, today, and forever. This one will come down. This one will come down and deliver you and deliver us. We used to have to say this when our people were mourning because a massacre had happened, and you had to come along and you try to make them believe there is a God who cares. You see, our God will come down and the prison doors will open. And then in February 1990, the prison doors opened and Nelson Mandela stepped out into freedom. We walk tall. We walk tall. They sometimes ask you even today, what do you think you have achieved in South Africa in the 10 years? I say, hey. There is no money value or whatever other value you could attach to the fact that, hey, I am free. I am free. And it's very difficult to tell people who have never been unfree. Because it's in a way like trying to tell someone who is blind about a glorious sunrise, or to tell someone who is deaf about a wonderful Beethoven symphony. To be free. And to be able to walk tall, not to have to apologize for your existence. What money value can you put to that? And even if we achieve nothing else, to have achieved the this is of incomparable value. And that is what you helped to happen. This is a moral universe. Might will never be right. And those who have power, do be careful. Do be careful how you use that power. The powerful of this world are going to appear before the tribunal of our God. And they will be asked, when you had power, what did you do for my little people? These poor ones, these weak ones. And we said to our people, you see, we told you that these guys had already lost. They'd already lost. And now, as I say, it's a term that I like using, expression that I like using, they bite the dust. They bite the dust, and they bite the dust ignominiously. But maybe the one other thing I would like to share with you. We, because we live in a culture of success and achievement, so frequently think that our worth depends on our effort. And in this book, I try to remind you of this fundamental truth about each one of us. God loves you. Period. God loves you. And you know what? God loved you. That is why God created you. And this is some of what one is trying to remind all of us. And God's dream is that you and I will come to recognize that we are family, God's family. There are no outsiders. Just think of it. That Jesus says, if I be lifted up, will draw, Jesus doesn't say will draw some. Jesus says, I will